Yeah, okay. It's been a while since you saw an interview on Gada TV. It's been a very long time, but this time we have a very interesting guest with us. She's no small person. You might see her sitting there very small, but she's very big. I would like her to introduce herself to us and for us to know who she is and what she does. She's written a very interesting and educative book titled The Black Capitalist, and we are going to delve into the book. So first off, Mio
Jova.
I
knew that one. I was nervous.
Sure. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, your titles, or what have you?
Yeah, and thank you for having me. So my name is Dr. Rachel NaaDu Laryea.
Wow.
Yes.
So NaaDu meaning you are a Gan.
Yes, exactly. Both of my parents were born and raised in Accra. Both of them are Gan. I am Gan fully.
Okay, 100%.
And yes, and I live in the U.S., and I have lived there for quite some time. I was born in the U.S., but I come home all of the time, every year, multiple times a year. And I've done several things. So I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own business. I also work in finance at JP Morgan Chase in wealth management. And most recently, I'm the author of this book, as you mentioned, Black Capitalist, which is really a story and an argument about how race makes a difference and how we participate in capitalism, and how that difference teaches all of us something about how to create a more equitable version of capitalism. And so all of my experiences, personal and professional, have really led me to write this work.
Okay, well, very interesting. So before we go into the book, how has Accra received you, or how has Accra treated you? Are you enjoying the sun?
I am. I personally love the sun. Anytime I can get in the sun, I'll take it. But it's been such a warm reception. I think this trip has felt very different than every trip in the past, because this is the first, or I should say this is the second time, but it feels like the first time I've been able to really bring the book here, connect with fellow Gans. Even this morning, I got the opportunity to meet with the king, the Ga King.
Okay,
yes.
we will surely come to that. But
yes.
So as a diasporan, should I call you a diasporan because you're a Gan?
Well, you tell me, because you live here. So would you call me a diasporan, or would you call me?
I'll call you one of our own.
Okay.
You see, even those of us, our family members who are abroad, when they are there, we call them diasporans because they are scattered all over the diaspora.
Yes.
So I'll also call you a diasporan.
Okay.
Although you are 100% Gan, even more Gan than me, but I've seen pictures of you with Gamanche. Can you tell us what led to the whole meeting and how you saw the meeting?
Yes. So I think one of the most incredible things about writing this book is who I've been able to meet along the way, who has been inspired by the work and just wanted to connect me with other people to keep telling the story. And so that's what happened. I had the privilege of meeting who is now a dear friend who's based in Amsterdam, a fellow Ga, who connected me with a bunch of people while I've been here, and had the opportunity to meet with the king today. And the meeting, it was incredible because I learned so much about Ga culture, our lineage, even just the royal lineage, to think about the role Gas have played in Ghanaian history. And I must say, I think so much of it to me was I did not know, and so I felt very inspired to just be at the palace and even learn about that history, and then get to connect with the king and talk with him, answer some of his questions. And so it was just such an informative experience that leaves me I can't wait till the next time I'm able to come and experience more and just continue to tap more into Ga culture.
Yeah, but have you been to any of the Ga communities? Like Bukom, Teshi, Labadi, or let me say La. They said they don't like Labadi anymore. They want La.
Ah.
Okay, so have you been to any of the Ga states?
I've been to some, and I'll say especially what I'm most familiar with is Coligono.
Coligono, yeah.
Because that is where, my mom grew up. That's where my family house is. And so much of my experience when it comes to guns is really Jamestown, Coligono areas.
Okay, so I think you and Shatawale.
Shatawale.
And then Richard Niamakwe, they are all they are all Coligono boys.
Okay.
Yeah, Richard Niamakwe is one of the biggest entrepreneur and businessmen in Ghana.
Okay.
Right now, he has food banks all over the country, and Shatawale is the biggest musician in Ghana right now. So you are the latest, biggest author out of Coligono. So
I love it.
That's the what we are expecting right now. You are seeing the biggest author from Ghana. She's also from Coligono. So Coligono has 3 big people coming out of that place. Okay, so let's go into the book. Why the title Black Capitalist?
Yeah, so the title Black Capitalist, which I must admit is a very controversial title, but it's really to show us, and I'll even show the cover because the arguments is in the cover. So if you see here, should we pause? Because I don't know how loud that'll be. Or is it okay?
It's okay.
It's okay. Because if you see here, it's almost as if there's this white flap, or as if it's a white door that you've kind of pulled up. And it's only by exactly, and it's only by opening the page that you see what's underneath it. And what's underneath it is black.
Okay.
Right? But if the page was closed, all you would see is capitalist with a white background. And that's supposed to symbolize the fact that when you're talking about capitalism, right? Oftentimes that has been whitewashed, the history of capitalism. And it also suggests that there's only one beneficiary, which is white people. But the reality is that when you lift up the fold, you start to really look at the history of capitalism. You start to see black participation in capitalism. You account for the fact that black people have always been the laborers that have driven these economic systems, but we've hardly ever been the beneficiaries of such a system. And so when I talk about how race makes a difference and how we participate in capitalism, it's one, to remember the role that we've always played and how we can use the tools of the system to stop the erasure of black experiences, black participation, and what has otherwise been considered a system that only benefits white people.
So why is it controversial for blacks, like to associate blacks to capitalism?
Yes.
Why?
So the controversy is because of that history. If you think about how American capitalism, and by extension Western capitalism, was predicated and built on the legalized enforcement of slavery, the enforcement of enslaving black people, right? It's hard to imagine that black people can have a positive or productive association to capitalism when all we've known is that history. Because that history is still enduring. You see the ways in which black people globally continue to be oppressed through neo-colonial forces or through racism. And so for a lot of people, they're like, oh, this is oxymoronic. Like, how can we be capitalists when white people have been the capitalists that have always been benefiting from it?
So this brings me to the question. Maybe someone watching us may not even know what capitalism is in the first place. So what is capitalism, or who is a capitalist?
Yes, it's a good question. So capitalism, to put it very simply, is an economic system whereby actors, yourself, myself, right, engage in activities in pursuit of private ownership and profitability. Very simply, that's what it's about.
Okay, so it's like me going into a business in order to gain profits.
Exactly. Okay. And to be able to do that in what they would call, say, a free market, where anybody is able to pursue, again, the private ownership of, say, a business, an organization, company, whatever it is, with the intention to create profit in excess. Because if you're running a business, it takes money to run that business.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, you need to be able to not just maintain the bills for that business, but make excess. And that is the profit, right? And so that is capitalism at its core. And the reality is that when you look at the tools of capitalism, or how it even works for someone to own something and produce profit based on that ownership, anyone can do it, right? But it's the case, again, through history, we see how capitalism has been racialized because black people were owned, right? So in this case, white supremacy as a concept became a tool that was used to own black people, create profit from black people. And the others, who were the beneficiaries of that, got to continue to build the different forms of things that they owned.
Okay, so in essence, slavery was also capitalism.
Oh, absolutely,
Slavery,
absolutely.
Because it was a business where the people or the whites were making a lot of profit from. But this
that allowed them to build additional systems on top of that.
Okay, but your explanation of capitalism, or your basic explanation of capitalism, it looks and sounds simple because anybody can go into a business with the intention of making profit.
Right.
So what is stopping we the blacks from going or venturing into businesses to make money out of it?
Yeah, and I'd say there's a lot of factors. You know, I think some factors start first with even what we believe we're capable of. And I've been learning that as I've been touring, because, you know, sometimes people will say, especially in an American context, oh, that's for white people, or that's something white people do. And I'll give you an example. I was talking to a woman who's the owner of an art gallery in New Jersey, you know, in the U.S. And someone in the neighborhood in Newark, New Jersey, which is a predominantly black community, came to her and said, oh, why would you create an art gallery in Newark, which is a black community? That's what white people do, you know? And so that's just one example of how your beliefs even shape what you think you're capable of achieving, the kind of ownership you believe that you should have, and the kind of wealth you believe you should have as a byproduct of what you own, you know? And so that's one core thing. And then you can point to, you know, racism or neocolonialism as roadblocks even to creating systems or opportunities for ownership and wealth creation.
Okay, so
you know,
meaning neocolonialism and then mental slavery is a barrier between blacks and then capitalism. Is that what you are trying to say?
Absolutely. And then I think you have interpersonal dynamics as well, because it's not just about the external forces that make it difficult for us to achieve different forms of wealth or thriving. It's also how we relate to each other and some of the challenges we create amongst ourselves as well.
Sure. So in essence, that means capitalism is not as simple as we think for the black people. So what have you written in this book that you think is going to be of great help to the black people to go into capitalism?
Yeah.
And destroy the chains, the mythical chains, so that is stopping or holding us back from venturing into capitalism and taking advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say what this book offers are a set of questions and answers that really provoke us to think about, do I really know what capitalism is? Because once you understand, even at a fundamental level, what this system is, you might start to think differently about how you relate to it. So that's one. Two, it helps us reckon with the reality that we live in a capitalist world. Okay? So we have to acknowledge that. We can't go to sleep tonight and hope that capitalism will be gone tomorrow. It won't happen. We know that, most likely, right? And so how do we deal with the reality that we have? You know, but to do it in a way that acknowledges the third point, which is all of us want to be able to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, you know, enjoy life, some of those things that require money to do, right? And so those all relate to how then we need to participate in capitalism, because it requires resources in order to take care of ourselves, right? So this book is really about how we can be honest with ourselves about the situation that we're in, while also acknowledging that our history does not preclude us from having a different kind of future than the one that our history suggests, right? And so it's really an opportunity to just encourage people and empower people, because it's, if you have the knowledge, if you have the understanding, then your future can be different.
So how are you trying to break such a mindset? Like, how are you trying to make Black people break away from such a mindset?
Yeah, I would say the way I do it is by even engaging people to think about how they relate to certain popular trends. For example, the soft life. That's a phenomenon. Black woman luxury.
A lot of young Ghanaian girls.
Yes, they want the soft life, and it's not just women too, but men too. We all want the soft life, and so it's not just for women, though it's been focused on women. But everybody at the core, they want rest. They want to be able to access nicer things in life. People don't want to be struggling or hustling all the time, right? But we also know that it requires resources to do that. If you want to go on a vacation, you have to have the money to do that. So those are all kinds of participations in capitalism. Another way that I do it is by encouraging people to understand that, especially in the U.S., we talk a lot about support Black businesses. If you have the opportunity and you're presented with the choice to patron a white business or a Black one, all things being equal, they're the same, other than the fact that one is owned by a Black person and another is owned by a white person. Patronize the Black business, because when you know the history and the fact that it has been structurally harder for that Black business to succeed and compete in the market, you support them, right? But to say support Black businesses, that is saying support capitalism. So how then do you wrestle with the contradictions of that? Because people will say, oh, capitalism is not for us, we're not about that, we don't like it. But then in the same breath you say that, you'll say support Black businesses, which is saying support capitalism.
Because the Black businesses are also capitalists. They want to make profit. And so I try to engage people with these kind of riddles, right? To understand, I think I need to be more honest about how I'm relating or even thinking about capitalism to really account for, again, what I said, the reality of the situation that we're in. But I think what's also most important is that it's not just about participating in capitalism. It's about doing it with a set of morals and ethics that does not repeat all of the harms that we've seen through capitalism in the past. Okay, thank you very much. I think you've done justice to the whole issue of capitalism. So the book, if anyone wants to have a copy of this book, where would the person go?
So it's available really anywhere you buy books. I'll say in Ghana you can get the soft copy or even the audiobook online, really wherever you get books. When it comes to the hard copy, I'm working on getting it in bookstores now here in Ghana, and so more to come on the hard copy, but the audio and the digital copy is available
on Amazon.
Anywhere.
All the publishing,
all the major
you can platforms. Find it. Okay, so one last question: how hard was it for you to get this book done? Like, how long and how difficult? What are the challenges you face so far?
I tell you, there was a lot, because this work, I first started it when I was doing my doctoral programs at Yale University. And so I started those programs in 2017. I just published the book this year, in 2015.
Okay.
2025, excuse me.
Okay,
so it's been almost 8 years.
Wow.
To write this one.
So you see, 8 good years of work in one book. So you can imagine how rich and how elevated you are going to be from reading this book. So you will not see capitalism the same way you see it after reading this book.
That's true. So a lot of years doing research. I interviewed hundreds of people. And also to make the story compelling, I write about a lot of my own experiences too, and so, because the reality is capitalism is lived, it's experienced. And so in order to make that feel relevant to people, I really wanted to capture that. So one of the challenges was just the time, right? And pacing myself, because sometimes we live in a society, we want things fast.
Yeah.
But some things, you gotta spend the time, years even,
Sure.
to do justice to it. But then also, I think the world of publishing in the U.S. especially is very white. And so telling stories about Black people, Black life, challenging.
Sure.
And so there's a whole set of challenges there to even make arguments about why this book matters. 'Cause people ask me, why should we care about this story? And so it's not taken as a guarantee that people will care. And so advocating for this work
Sure.
as well has been a big challenge, throughout this journey.
Wow.
But we're here.
Yeah,
The book is done now.
Yeah. I really love the fact that you've done this. So in essence, you are telling everybody that like the market is there. It's up to us to go there and make the money. We shouldn't say this is white people's business. This is black people. The whites, they do Black people business and they make a lot of money.
They sure
So
do.
why can't we also do their kind of business and then make money out of it? So she's telling us that we shouldn't be afraid.
Yes.
Go take the risk, go into the business and then make the money.
Yeah. But it's
and
important
then
to
be rich.
know.
Live the
Yeah.
soft life.
Yeah, but it's important to know you have to have the knowledge, but you also have to have the principles and the standards.
Okay, so it's all in this book.
Yes, it's all in
the
here.
knowledge, the tricks, or am I?
Yes,
the tricks,
the
and then
tools, the tricks.
whatever you need in order to survive in the capitalist state or environment
Yes.
is all captured in
Yes.
the book. Okay.
Yes.
Wow, this is not a small book. I'm getting mine right after this interview so that I can go into business and then learn from her tricks and all the things
Yeah.
captured in the book. So do you have any final words, people you would like to thank for this trip? And
Yeah. Oh, I'm so thankful. I'm thankful to you for making time for this conversation. I think for me, the greatest blessing of writing this book, because we talk about the challenges, but there's also blessings. And the biggest one has been all the incredible people I've gotten to meet who have just really put me on their shoulders and put me in rooms. They've spoken my name in rooms to just share this work. It's been so powerful, and I'm so grateful. So I'm thankful. Yeah.
so thank you very much. What are your social media handles?
Yes.
Before we go?
Yes, so for Instagram, it's at Dr. Laryea. LinkedIn, it's my first name, my last name, Rachel
Rachel
Laryea. Yes. I also have a Substack, and so I do quite a bit of writing on there. The handle for that is at Black Capitalism.
Okay.
And I have a website as well. And so that can be a good place to start, and you can see all of the different things that I'm
What
doing.
about Twitter or X?
Oh, see, I don't have those really.
Okay.
But if you say I should, I'll make them.
Okay. So thank you very much. I hope you've learned a lot from this conversation, and then you are going to purchase the book and then learn from it. Learn the tools, the principles, the guidelines that has been written in this book. And then you succeed. When you succeed, you thank God, and then you thank Doctor. She's very young and she's a doctor. She has 2 doctorate degrees. In Ghana, before you see someone with a doctorate or PhD, is an old man in his 60s, but she's very young and she's a doctor, like 2 doctorates. So that's Dr. Rachel NaaDu Laryea.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much
Yes,
for
thank you so much.